niggas be crystalline. Yeah, hey, I'm shameless, so shameless. With my dogs on the block, it was dangerous. Take your girl out to eat and she's paying. I'm shameless, so shameless. I'ma go hit Tahoe up. Come bring the Tahoe truck, body bags on body bags. Come pick this garbage up. DJ mixing in the booth, he leave him traumatized up. I ain't got no time to waste, let's get these commas up. I'm sitting in class, I can't even focus. Looking at teach, hoping that she don't notice. Titty sit right, got ass be poking. Sitting in the front, cause I gotta be the closest. I'm just waiting for the bell, let everybody leave. I passed with an A, but left her with a D.
We're good to go, we could just get it going. Welcome to So Shameless. So I just found out 5 minutes ago that Tahoe is that podcast fest weekend or some shit like that.
Podfest?
No, Podfest, right?
Yeah.
And this nigga, so Tahoe is the guilt trip king. So I got laid on him on this one with the no invite because, I mean, that's a little bugged out. Like, I'm on a podcast too, you know what I mean? Like, you know? But
maybe some perks he couldn't share.
It's all good, you know. He always says
maybe he ain't have a plus one.
Maybe he have a plus one.
He always says he's the Beyonce of the group, so you know. I guess Kelly and Michelle had to sit out for this one.
I can see that.
And Daj ain't here. I'm not sure. I know she got some business going on, so you know. So I'm here. We got two excellent guests. Shout out to Chef Cream and my man Free Speech. So first of all, how y'all doing? Y'all good?
I am quite all right.
How was your week?
Good. Very busy.
Yeah.
I had a very busy week. So, and I got another very busy week coming up. So hopefully I'll get some sleep and work it out.
So you actually are a chef, right?
Oh yeah, I am a chef.
Okay, so it's not just the name.
So I'm a private chef and caterer, and I work with the Department of Education. I work with New York City. I also work with CUNY colleges as well. I'm a vendor for all of those. I also own Comfort Kitchen Catering, since it is no longer just going to be me, and I'm expanding and having employees and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, Chef Cream.
That's what's up.
Nice. Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I like that. I like food.
And Free Speech, my brother from another, you know, long time brother, and you know, got a lot of things going on. I'm gonna speak on. I'm not gonna speak on things. I'm gonna let you speak on whatever you want to speak on.
Yeah, I've known you for like decades.
Indeed.
This is like my brother, like family for real. Yeah, I've been good, man. I've been working on a couple of things, you know, still gigging, still producing events, enjoying life, working on my freehand collection, you know, collaborating with a couple of brands, Adidas and Brompton, and yeah, good stuff.
Okay.
So Free is a music connoisseur, fellow DJ, artist, producer, all of the above, and so we have a whole list of topics. We got the production team. Shout out to Trav. We got some things we're gonna talk about. You know, just off the top, I'm just wondering because I stayed at home and I watched Coachella on YouTube last night, right? So I'm watching the shit and I'm like, yo, I like to be home. You know what I mean? Like, I don't miss being out there. Y'all like going to festivals and shit like that?
Yeah.
I get anxiety being around all those folk.
Right. The funny thing about, I think, festivals is like the perspective that you get when you watch it is it's nice because you're in the comfort of your home. Being at festivals, if you don't pay for that VIP ticket, them porta potties is not your friend.
Yo, I got a bad bladder. Like, I need to have like a pamper on or something. I can't just be out
there for all
in the
those
middle
hours,
of nowhere.
I can't.
Yo, the lines,
I gotta use the bathroom. I'm hungry. I'm hot.
It's not the business.
Listen, we could do that in the house. Let's have Coachella in the living room.
Yeah,
I'll make us some sliders and some wings.
Perfect.
We could do whatever.
It's got the best angles. They're gonna see it from every angle of the show, you know, and I'm comfortable in my house. So my lady is
my direct opposite. She loves festivals. She goes to Coachella every year. We didn't go, obviously. She's like, oh, next year we gotta go. I'm like, why don't we just put like a projector up in the backyard? Invite like 50 of our friends. So it's like dope. You still got the crowd type feeling. Like you still got people next to you. You got some energy. But you could go inside and grab some water. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah,
use a restroom.
I'm like,
I like that idea.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
You can always do that. Especially if you got the space, like a little camp out in the back and stuff like that.
It's that comfort, man. It's that.
And you can control who you're next to. You can control your spitting on you and stinking.
Yeah, festivals is not ideal. I think at a certain point, if you know you want a certain level of quality quality. You just you know even with great performances, just the inconvenience of being on your feet all that time.
Yeah.
You know, I don't even like concerts if there's no chairs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
Give me
like
some
that as
seating.
well.
Like you said, I need to be in VIP. You know what I mean?
I need
I've definitely gotten to that age.
I pay for the
yeah.
premium ticket every time.
I got
Oh yeah,
bad-
I'm definitely
yeah.
a first class flyer.
Yeah.
Skip the line when you go to the Six Flags and you buy the extra, the extra ticket to skip
Yeah.
the line. I don't care if the park empty. I'm still going. Let's just go.
At this point, it's a quality of life thing.
Yeah.
Quality of
Yeah.
life.
I got
Quality
bad
of
knees. I got
Yeah.
bad back.
I'll
like-
pay the $20 for us to park in the lot. Just
100%.
please, like yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I'm definitely pay for it to get done because then now my experience is ruined, right? Or I'm upset, I'm aggravated. I'd rather not do that. I'm one of those people. Once I'm already upset, then I be done ruined my whole day. So if I got to pay an extra $100 or whatever it is, I'd rather do that.
Yeah, it's
And
the
have that
enjoyment.
experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
And
enjoyment.
enjoy. That's a fact.
Rich people shit.
Exactly.
I ain't gonna hold you. When it comes to parking, I'll circle the block a couple of times before I put it in the lot.
Oh,
That's me, you know.
I'll go straight in the lot. My friends will be like, it's parking outside, right there. It's a parking right there, but all right.
Nah,
I
I'm
guess.
a risk taker when it comes to that.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I don't,
I'll take the
circle
risk
block.
by my house. My house is very bad with parking, so I'll park at like a pump, and then
Okay.
just hope when I come out in the morning,
There's no ticket.
there's no ticket, or the fire people ain't have to like break my window to put a hose through it or something like
That's
that.
crazy.
Where you from? You from BK?
You know, from Brooklyn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wasn't sure if we met before. I know, obviously, we got the
We've
same
met, but I
circle.
don't think we've ever
Actually,
had like a conversation,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. It was like,
Okay.
hey, I kind of know you.
Yeah, so it's like you
Because
look
we know the
familiar.
same people, but
That
that's
shit
it.
could be weird. Like, yo, I was in the gym the other day. This dude came up to me, was like, "Yo, I've never seen this man before in my life." Or, sometimes you might have met, and I got a terrible memory. He's coming up to me. He's like, "Yo, what's going on? How's everything? How's the family?" And he's like, "Yeah, man." And Howard hurt his back, and I don't know who the fuck Howard is either. So at this point, I'm like, "All right, yo, that's what's up, man. Yeah, man. I hope he get better." You know what I mean? And I just dip off. I'm like, "How do y'all ever have interactions like that?"
All the time. I mean, here's the thing: if you're a public figure or you seem to build a certain amount of notoriety, there's people's gonna know more of you than you're gonna know of them.
Right.
Right? Because you're moving all the time. So you meet somebody, but if this person isn't a repeated, person in your life, then it's a good chance that you might forget them. So when they go, "Oh, you remember that time we was hanging out?" You like, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Because my thing is, when they're around other people, I never want to make people feel like
Right.
whatever
Especially
moment
if
they
it's
had.
like a little crowd around.
Yeah, I don't want to make them feel like whatever moment they had with me is not as special as is. I just need to come back to remember whatever that was. You know what I mean? Because it's a good chance that it was a good time. I just have a lot of good times.
I got you. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, cause I always have friends that go, I don't understand how like celebrities can't remember you, or people says, "I like, well, they always around people who seem to know who they are." So it's hard for them themselves to be like, "You think I'm gonna remember all these people and I'm moving all the time?"
Yeah.
So you kind of have to have a mechanism where if these people are around people and they give you that love, I'm gonna give you that love back.
Oh, I'm good
But-
with that. Yeah.
Yeah,
like-
I'm a
You know what I
very
mean? Yeah.
contrary to certain people's belief, but I am a very nice person, very welcoming person. I'm genuinely like somebody nana.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna feed you banana pudding and tell you, "Come on, we got grits and cornbread over here. Come
Yeah,
on
genuine.
down." But I'm still kind of auntie age. Sometimes I'll be forgetting my son name. I'll be like, "Hey, you! I only got one child." I'll be like, "Excuse me, you in the other room. Can you come on over here?" So, but I was on a date a couple weeks back, and we just standing there waiting for the light to change to cross the street, and somebody was like, "Chef Cream," and he looked, and I was like. He didn't know what to do because he's not, familiar with that, and I'm
Right.
like, I kind of like am a big deal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like not a lot of it, but a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, there's people who know me, and it's happening more frequently.
Right.
And the crazy thing is, we eating now, right? And the same thing, like we was eating outside, and people that was walking by was
Would
like,
say
"Yo,
something.
was
Yeah.
saying hi and stuff like that." And I'm like, oh man, because he don't really know me yet, right? So I'm like, this kind of felt awkward. But yeah, I try to be as welcoming as I
You
can,
have to.
regardless.
was-
If I
it was
don't,
the first date?
even if I don't remember you, no, we a couple, but
Okay.
you still don't know. Like I still don't know the extent of how many people actually follow me and see me and remember me and all of that kind of stuff. So when people say it, I'm still in shock too. So for other folks that are with me, are like, what what is going on?
Right.
You know, you just my homegirl, you know, or you just my sister, my mama and them, they, you know, not saying that I ain't Beyonce, but a couple motherfuckers know me, and I lived a lot of lives.
Right. I got a question for you. So how do you do, and you too, Traum, how do you deal with when somebody's introducing themselves to you or they know you and you can't remember their name? How do you get around trying to figure out?
Oh shit.
I kind of lie.
If I'm with somebody else, I'll be like, yo,
What's his name?
this is free. And I'll wait for that person to say their name.
Right,
Oh yeah, free, I'm such and such. I'll try to do that. If I'm not with nobody else, I just won't say nothing. I'll just be like, yeah, brother, yeah, what up, King?
Yeah, I kind of go with the flow.
Yeah, family. You know what I mean? I got a whole script. And,
Right.
I've been
And that's
faking
that
it
thing.
yeah.
That's the part I'm saying. You're trying to be nice in terms of like, I know this person had a moment with me, and I'm pretty sure if you give me a second, I might figure it out. But names is, you know.
Oh yeah, names is terrible with me. I'll give you a name, right? I'll give you a name, and that's gonna be your name from the day I meet you till the day you get off this earth.
Right,
you get what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
I don't
That's
mean
what
no
you are.
disrespect. Like if we out together, you be like, this is my brother or this is my cousin. I just be like, hey cousin. And now every time I see him,
Cousin.
that's they name is cousin.
Yeah.
Cousin, nephew, sister.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
You say, hey, this my mom.
Yeah.
Your mom might be a wonderful lady named Loretta.
Right.
I'm not going to remember Miss Loretta's
Hey, Mom.
name. When I see her, I'm say, hi, hey, mama. How you doing, ma?
Right.
That's it. And that's going to be your name from whatever I remember you as. That's
what
what
I
you
got.
going to be.
Right.
Because
If you remember.
if I remember, right.
That's the crazy
But I'm
part.
good for giving somebody a name. Yeah.
So, Cream, it's funny that you say that, you know, you're a nice person because I feel like
It's funny that you say you're a nice person.
I feel like I don't know you that well, but your reputation precedes you. When I found out you were going to be a guest on the show, I was like Tahoe and Dodge was like hesitant to pair us together. Like,
Okay.
so I was like, what's up with Cream? I was like, you know, something, you know. So I was expecting like something totally different. You know what I mean?
They tried to make me out to seem like a mean girl.
I ain't gonna say what, like Melly. What would you say? Like, am I right or am I right? Like in the in the
He
chat,
ain't give you no other option but to agree with him.
I was,
you know that, right?
warned in the chat, Melly. Right?
You was warned. Okay, so I will say this, right?
You're a little spicy.
Oh yeah, very much so.
Okay.
Right. So
Yeah,
I'm not.
that's what they're trying to
God, I
do.
haven't got
Okay.
any spice yet.
Right, so this is my thing. I'm a person that you gotta earn my disrespect. I come
Gotcha.
off extremely respectful.
Okay.
We can engage, all of that stuff.
Right.
I'm not the person that's gonna look for an issue. Right? I actually seen a clip I posted about 50 yesterday. He said the rich person is not the one that starts the fight. You never see the rich person in the club looking for an issue. They just trying to be there and have a good time. The people that want an issue is the people that don't have nothing to lose. So I don't look for that.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? I got too much going on.
Yeah.
What I also know is the way I grew up in the time of the aggressor, that time is long gone. So I know it's a high probability that if there is an issue between not you and I specifically, but me and whoever, they not gonna want to take it to where I want to take it to.
Yeah.
So I try to avoid that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, the spice is there, but I'm not a bully. I'm the person that bullies the bully. I don't like bullies. You know what I'm
Gotcha,
saying?
gotcha.
So I'll react and I'll respond and I'll do all of that and I'll push back.
Right.
Because I'm gonna defend myself.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But if we don't take it, if you don't take it there, I won't take it there. Because there's no reason to. I'm mad chill. Like I said, I'm very welcoming.
I relate to that.
You know what I'm saying? If
Yeah.
you hungry, you could come on and eat with me.
Yeah.
How about this? I went to brunch a few weeks back, and the server was amazing young man, very polite. Right? He started asking me who I am. I don't even speak for myself. My manager starts speaking for me. He starts showing him who I am on TikTok and this, that, and the other. And the young man starts shaking. Like
You mean,
so,
like you got nervous?
yeah, like
Yeah.
not in a bad way,
But
but
like,
he just was
oh.
like in amazement to be in my presence, right? Long story short, I ended up offering that young man a job. He's coming to work for me on Thursday.
Nice.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm one of those. I'm telling you, I'm genuinely like your aunts and your grandma. Like I welcome you in, but the moment you play with me,
You were raised around that though. I can tell by the way you talking right now. You were raised around people like, you get disrespect when you disrespect.
Right.
Other than that, I had this conversation earlier. I said I grew up in a time period where, for example, no women, no children. Right. That means even if I see you out and about and you with your kids, and I know we got to get it, not right now, because they ain't supposed to see that. This ain't about them.
Right.
And that's a different type of respect that you may not even see value now in society, where people go beyond how despicable you may think my career is or what my choice of living is. I still got a certain code to how we do this and how we get it in.
Yeah.
And that's a value to that I think somewhere in the streets you might not see as often. Like the whole thing between two people getting it on, somebody pull out something and somebody go, nah, not like that.
Yeah.
Get it on regularly right now. You feel me? Because you're going to live to talk about this, as opposed to doing something whack and be like, why? Because you can't take an L today?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I think my generation, not saying that we too far apart.
No.
But I think my generation got the last little bit of the respect for who you was.
Right.
Right? So at some point, I think like for us, it was like, yo, he used to get busy in 98. You know what I'm saying? He is who he is.
Hold that.
And I think, and a lot of people were able to live off that. Now, there's nobody living off that. I don't care who you shot 9/7. You got to prove it to me today.
Right.
You got to prove it to me today. I don't care. They be like, oh, he's a killer. Me too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now prove it to me today. And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, I grew up in that space, like you said, that it was like the no women, no children. But the thing that was different for me is I was a woman in a man's game.
Yeah.
So those rules got bent for me
bent.
because I just started wilding.
Right.
So again, I know a lot of the times people is not gonna want to take it to where I'm willing to go. So I just try to do everything before we flip that switch.
To take it there.
Because I'm not looking to play with you, right? I'm not
right.
looking to say, okay, you just called me stupid, so I'm gonna call you stupid back.
Yeah.
No. You gonna call me stupid and I'm gonna slap your mother coming out of church. You know what I'm saying? So before we go all the way there, right? Because for me, it's like we gonna spend too much time warring. It's the battle. I just want to win the battle.
Right.
I just want to win the war.
Yeah.
How you win the war?
I ain't gonna front you.
With a headshot immediately. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
If I throw a grenade, then hide, and wait for you to throw a grenade and hide. Nah.
We're not getting nothing done.
I don't got time for that.
Yeah.
Listen, man, I know your mother live on 172 Macon.
I'm gonna go see her.
I'm gonna go see your mother
and slap the shit out of her
and slap the shit out of her and be like, yo, go get
for
your
giving
son.
birth to a dummy.
You know what I'm saying? I know genuinely, and I know that about myself. It took me a long time to realize that. Like, yo, everybody is not gonna
Built like that.
Yo,
gonna
just
do that.
listening to you speak, I could tell you don't take no shit. And shout out to the Discord, by the way. Shout out to the Patreon. They in there in the comments,
Yep.
and they
Hey,
mention
y'all.
your accent.
So
They
I'm
say
from
you got-
Brooklyn,
Yeah.
born and raised. I'm from Coney Island.
Okay.
I don't live in Coney Island anymore, but my family is still out there. Some of my family's still in South Carolina, but other than that, I'm just from Brooklyn. That's where my voice comes from.
That's what's up.
Yeah, I mean, I've always had a deep voice, and then I guess the other part of it is just growing up in the '90s and I was raised by men. I was raised by men, so my mannerisms and all that stuff are what people would label as masculine presenting, although I dress like this or whatever. But yeah, that's just where it comes from. I'm really just at heart, I'm always gonna be a dirty, grimy project bitch from Brooklyn. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, no matter.
I don't think it make you dirty though.
No, I don't mean it like that. But I mean, like, listen. I grew up.
You from the mud. You came.
Yeah,
from,
my mother used to take me shopping at the Goodwill. I told my son this. We was actually we was driving home. We listened to Biggie. We talk about sewing the tigers on the shirt, whatever, right? I told him, I said, yo, I remember one time my mother bought me a Tommy Hilfiger t-shirt. I thought it was Tommy Hilfiger. I'm outside. It had to be hot as hell outside. The t-shirt start peeling.
Oh Lord. It's the iron on.
Like, the t-shirt start peeling. I don't know it's not Tommy Hilfiger. My mom's not going to tell me, yo, I bought you a fake shirt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Man, I was outside having a squabble over that shirt.
Oh man.
So, yeah, I do. I come from very, very difficult circumstances. You know what I'm saying? And to bring it to a lighter note, what I've managed to achieve is astronomical compared to where I come from.
So I ain't gonna front, I had to look you up a little bit. when Tahoe and Dodge kind of warned me, I was like, let me see what Cream's all about. So I was like, let me get her social media handles, right?
Oh man.
So I went on your Twitter, and I was like, yo, you be going off on Twitter. Huh? I'm like, so I got it. So we had this segment that we used to do. We haven't done it in a while. Defend your tweet, right?
Oh
So-
shit! You found one of my tweets. I got to defend.
I'm not going to ask you to defend it, but I am going to ask a question
Oh,
because
man.
I just want to
Sometimes
know.
I'll be on drugs. So what
Right?
I say? Right, I had to put a disclaimer.
So you
Little bit.
retweeted somebody else's tweet, but then you added your own comment to it, right?
shit.
So the tweet was, this is somebody else's words. I would have never met my nigga if I ain't cheat on my ex.
And I put
And you replied, cheating, with a heart emoji and then the heart sign,
Yeah.
right? So I'm just curious, like, what?
that's the worst tweet you found. You did
That was
good.
not the worst, but I was like, that made me think, like, I'm
Yeah.
I wanted to know the context of that, like, how you feel about cheating?
So I will say that I am not currently. I want to use my words correctly for somebody a year from now. If I fall in love, somebody be like, "You said." I'm currently not in a space where I want to be in a relationship with anybody,
Okay.
or be monogamous, or be in love, or there is.
That's when it happens, by the way. Should creep up on you.
That's true.
But go ahead.
But I'm not currently in a space where I feel like that would be beneficial to me in any way, right? The things that people find important or like or need about love and relationships are at the bottom of the totem pole for me as far as like life importance goes, right? So when it come to cheating, I joke about it, but I'm not a cheater if I'm not with nobody.
True.
You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I do feel like that sometimes though. Like some people genuinely, I feel like you shouldn't be corny though. Like if you going to cheat, just if you're not happy in your situation, just be free.
Let's talk about it.
Just be free. Yeah, talk about it. Find something like. Fun fact: I was a behavior therapist before I was a chef.
Okay.
Right, so the way I view certain people's behaviors is a lot different because I literally will be like, it can only mean 4 things. What does this mean, right? So I feel like it is kind of corny to be cheating,
Man.
because at the end of the day, you can literally harm somebody. You can harm somebody, and that's taking the joke aside. I joke about a lot of shit, but taking the joke aside, if you fucking with somebody, just do right by them, or just don't.
When was the last time you was in a monogamous relationship?
Whew. The last time I was in a monogamous relationship was a year and a half ago.
Oh, that's not that long. Bro.
Yeah. So I don't. Oh, you wasn't here for when I did hard or soft. So I took the first time I did hard or soft. I this was the first time I publicly had said that the person that I wanted or I planned to spend the rest of my life with ended up getting somebody pregnant, and she called me and woke me up about my sleep and told me this and all that kind of stuff. What I've discovered now, what's been unveiled now, after going through therapy and still dealing with therapy, is that breakup sent me into a spiral of psychosis. So it literally, what he did to me literally made me go crazy.
Damn.
So yeah, I joke a lot.
Yeah.
But on the real, if you fucking with somebody, like do right by them, because you could genuinely break somebody to the point where they cannot be well after that or function normally, because that's what that situation did to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm dealing with. I think highly of myself, right? I don't sell you a resume as somebody that I'm not. I'm gonna be me, because if you gonna fuck me, you gonna fuck me. If you don't, you don't. My message ain't gonna be for every sister, and every brother is not gonna like me, and that's cool. I'm okay with that.
Right.
I'm still gonna be me organically though. So I foolishly sometimes, when people sell me they self, I think that they actually are the person they're selling me, right? Because they come to the job interview and I'm hiring a person. I'm thinking like, yo, this shit look good on paper. You know what I'm saying? They told me they could type 100 words a minute. They told me, but then you find out that this person is not the person that they put on their resume.
Facts.
And that you know, that really did, it broke me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, broke me. Like, I was fucked up for a minute. And I think, you know, a lot of what I feel, that's why I said in my current space, I'm not available for a monogamous relationship because I'm trying to achieve so much outside of that.
Yeah.
But do right by people.
So, Free and myself, we've had plenty of talks, man, about all types of shit, man. And you're definitely one of the most interesting men in the world. Like, I must say that, like, you know what I mean? To talk to Free is like to hear a whole unique perspective. And as long as I've known you, I don't even fully, you're a mystery, man. I'm kind of curious, like, what are your thoughts on monogamous relationships, cheating, and things of that nature?
Man. You know, monogamy is a very interesting thing because it's a commitment to be with one person, right? That's what it says. But what that commitment is a little bit more encompassed around how people view monogamy. Some people just look at the sex.
Gotcha.
But there's more to it than just the sex, right? Because it's, you know, outside of having all the pleasure, there's, you know, mood swings and things that affect a person that you have to still take as your partner or somebody that you're going to deal with. And I think most people struggle with that because they don't take on all those levels of it, right? It's a partnership. Like, you know.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It's a partnership, right? Like, and we do more about doing that in other avenues of our lives, right? For if me and you are going to open a business together, I'd want to know your credit. I'd want to know if you had business before, where's your expertise lie at, what's your resources. Sometimes we get together with somebody for years, and most of the time it's just been a lustful thing. Like, you know what I mean? I've been physically here, but not mentally or spiritually there.
Yo, not to cut you off, but that, like, I never really thought about it like that. Like, when you think about monogamy, you think about in a sexual way, like one partner. When I was younger, especially, that was the biggest challenge when I was younger. It's like, damn, I could
Stop playing.
I need variety. I can only, this is the only box I got. You know what I mean?
That's what you tell yourself.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And then, especially when you're outside, it's like there's so many opportunities.
So many boxes out there.
Right? You meeting all types of
boxes.
people.
So we're a house of boxes.
Yeah. I want to see what's behind door number 3. Like, you know?
That's a box?
But as I got older, as I'm getting older, I'm realizing the biggest challenge to monogamy is dealing with one person and their mood swings and shit like that. Sometimes you like, yo, I just need a break. Like, a nigga my age, I ain't really worried about fucking. Like, I could use some rest, actually. Like, I'm too tired to cheat. I don't even want to go out, but sometimes you could just have a break, a mental break from dealing with somebody. That's an interesting point. I never thought about that.
And so with that, I always think about how much of, you know, the investment we put into our businesses when we want to secure finances, right? We don't do that in our personal lives to build that kind of, I guess, personal finance, right? That kind of wealth where you kind of go, I like coming home because things is, and, you know, and then communication is a key to that, right? Because, you know, I always tell people, you could be dating somebody, right? Me and y'all just hanging out, y'all getting to know each other. But the minute y'all try to go exclusive, a rule book comes out, an invisible rule book of what my boyfriend or girlfriend is supposed to be that they never told you before. And they'll tell you sporadically through times, well, my man won't do that. That's not how my girl's supposed to act. And you go, when was you going to tell me?
Right.
At least for a job, they give you a manual. You get to go through it and be like, oh, there's some things in here I got questions about. Nah, relationships be like, I'm going to wait till you say yes, and then I'm going to hit you with some stuff to make you go, yeah, you need to change that. Cause
I've had those kind of conversations where guys be like, yo, I love it here. And I'm like, hold on. I'm like, you love it here because it's free. Right?
The minute I start putting...
Niggas like free.
Yeah, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful manner, but if you think about it, right? If we just fucking around, I'll get up and open my door at 3 a.m. for you to come on in. You know what I'm saying? But now if we in a relation, why the fuck are you coming here at 3 a.m? It turns. And I don't mean that in an argumentative way, but like I said, it's a free fall. It's a lot of things that happen. I don't care when you tell me, yo, I'm going to Vegas next week. There's no, you can spring that up on me. right? But if we're in a relationship, there might
You
be
need to let me know that.
right a little bit of a conversation. Say, hey, me and my cousin, me and my brother, whatever, we plan on going to Vegas. How do you feel about this? Whatever. Not that I'm gonna say no. I don't want to police you or parent you, but there needs to be a little bit of a conversation about it.
Communication.
Right.
You want to be put on, because here's the thing, especially for somebody in your world, in your space, you control a lot, right? So something to be outside of your control makes you go, why is this in my space and I didn't know about this? Right.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I go back to the communication, because with the free for all that you're explaining, it's kind of like, I can't hold you. What do I know what you're going to do when you're not around me, right? I just enjoy your company when we have a time to enjoy your company.
Right.
But when we get into this partnership, I'm relying on you for the show ups and to be all of these different things that kind of makes you go, well, where you, and how come I can't?
Exactly.
I'm counting on you, my partner.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I learned, because I wasn't the best. I'm I still struggle with certain things, but I realized communication is key.
I want to get y'all opinion on this. So I like to listen to a whole bunch of things on YouTube, and it brings me down all these rabbit holes. I listen to a lot of stand-up comedy, right?
Okay.
I actually used to want to be a stand-up comedian, and then I realized that I'm not that funny. And I realized that I don't like talking. So I'm like, that's probably not a good idea, right? Didn't work. So I just listened to comedians. So, I found this dude, Ryan Davis. I don't know if y'all heard of him. But the shit, like, when I listened to it, I was like, he just talking about relationships. I just want to see your opinion on this.
At your job, and fellas, it will never make sense to you. It's never going to make sense because men and women are different. Men are logical, and then we have this realm of nothing that we live in. And then women are logical too, but they also are in tune with their emotions, and their emotions is real to them. Their emotions is the same as fact, all right? So to a man, it's a man, that nigga back there like, that nigga preaching. Because we know, even if women disagree, every man has laid down pure fact to this lady, and she responded with, but I feel. Exactly.
So he kept going on that, but when I listened to that shit, I was like, I wish somebody would have told me that shit a long time ago. That would have eased a lot of my frustration. I had to learn that through all types of counseling and therapy and shit. It's like, I'm such a logical person. I'll be talking with my lady and we'll be having a dispute, and I'll be like, I just said something that's like factual. But her feelings are factual to her.
Yes.
And as a man, you have to understand that. Like, have y'all had any experiences yet? What do y'all think on this clip?
Bro, I say this all the time. I say this to my lady. I say it to friends of mine. I go, when you're having and it's not just for women. I say it to anybody. If you're having a conversation with somebody, a debate, an argument, whatever, and they say, well, I feel, whatever your debate is, it's over. And the reason why I say it is because you can never debate somebody's feelings. Exactly. I tell you that. Like, if I said I feel this pain in my foot, like I told you earlier when I gave you the example, I can't measure how hurt that is. You go, it still hurts me the day later. But you just bumped your foot. How's it really this? But not to take any, away from that person's feelings, you have to step back and just go, I can't measure that. I just know that you feel some pain, and I can't argue that. So when he says that part, I believe it's the reality of it is so truthful, because you can't argue that. You can't, she's saying she feels that, and you as a man, you kind of need to learn how to accept that and move away from trying to make sense out of that, because it may not be sensible. Not to say that what she's feeling is not valid. You know what I'm saying? It's more like, I can't.
Cream, what do you think?
So I think, excuse me, I think the feelings are valid on both parties that are having the conversation, and I think also both parties experience their own truth about the situation, right? So there's certain things that are gonna be true no matter what. The sky gonna be blue. You know what I'm saying? If it's cold in the house, it's cold in the house. But I feel like you could have two separate conversations. One that point out the facts, and y'all could get through that, and then one that says, okay, listen,
This is how I feel about it.
Right, because how many times do you hear it's not about the message, it's about how you say it, right? So although you might be very correct, how you said it made me feel like you talking to me crazy, and that's why I responded, and that's how you get what I'm saying.
And may I interject just
yeah,
a
of
little
course.
bit? When you say that, even if I said it in a tone that doesn't seem any way what you're telling me it is, you can still say it felt like that.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So
because I can't argue how I made you feel
at all.
All I could do is say, all right, hold on. How did you feel? Tell me how you felt. And either I'm a you know what I'm saying, decent person to say, you know what?
I apologize.
Either I apologize, or would you prefer my delivery this way, or find out a different, a route?
A good therapist will always say, talk about how you feel and things like that. But what he pointed out is that a lot of times what women do is they'll conflate their feelings with actual facts. Like, you think that's true? Is there any truth to that?
I don't want to generalize that based on gender, because if that was the case, then I've been the man in quite a few relationships.
Yeah, Melly?
You get what I'm saying?
No, I do.
So I don't want to generalize
That's
that by gender, because there are men on the other side.
That's why I said either men or women. That feeling component is in all of us, right? Some men may feel something more than a girl, and she's like, "Yo, you need to relax," and he's out the window with it, right? So, but what I do realize is that sometimes if I state something, right, just plain, there's no emotion. I'm not saying it condescendingly. I'm not saying it to be facetious or whatever it is. That person can still say, I felt this way, because in their mind, no matter what you said, they were built off of that feeling.
How about this? Remember a little while ago you said I'm very dominant in the aspects of my life. Right?
Yeah.
It's been that way since forever. Right. I kind of run the show, so sometimes that spills over into dating and stuff like that. Right. So he might be nice as pie right now, and I'm like, yo, I don't give a fuck. I'm not trying to hear that shit. You know what I'm saying? And keeping it moving, and I have to take a step back, or they'll have to pull me back and say, yo, hold on.
Yeah.
That was that response didn't meet what I was requesting.
He got to be a real G to do that to you.
Yes,
because he can't back off. Like I realize some women, like yourself, who shows that you're alpha female, you still need an alpha male to come.
Oh, you got to be super aggressive.
You know what I mean? You need
me.
to be like, oh, hold on now. I'm telling you. Otherwise, you're going to be like, I'm going to punk him every time. Because what you're saying, you don't really mean it like that.
So the thing is, it's like, I didn't ask to be this way. The universe, right? I didn't wait. Let me tell you something. No, because my whole life, what I wanted to do was be a stay-at-home wife, have a bunch of kids, bake cookies, make you little football-shaped brownies. You know what I'm saying? On Sundays and had the friends on over. That's what I wanted.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't get that from you. I don't.
Well, but see, and the reason I wanted that is because I didn't grow up having that.
Right.
Gotcha.
I didn't grow up having that. You know what I mean? I grew up in a house where my moms and my pops, they was together, but they shouldn't have been together. You know what I'm saying? They was fighting every day.
Do you think, like, in their core, most women want that?
What?
Just to be staying at home, making brownies and shit.
No, I was the only one that was around me that was like that, so I'm not sure. You know what I'm saying? And then if we want to speak statistically and realistically, black women haven't had that option.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it literally.
And that's why I say, like, deep down. I don't mean like in the surface, because it's not.
I think a lot of us want to break. And I think that means different things for different people. You get what I'm saying?
That's what that soft life is about.
Yeah.
So.
That's what it's about, huh?
Yes, but the thing is, for me, I don't feel, unless my entire community is allowed to experience that, I don't feel like that's liberating. You get what I'm saying?
I love that.
I don't feel like that's liberating, because that's a privilege, and that might be special for you. That might be something that you have access to. But I know the reality, and for the women that are like me and come from the places I come from, there ain't no soft life. Because life for us genuinely is not soft. That's why I said I didn't ask to be this. I didn't wake up one day and say I want to be a strong black woman. The universe said, ha, you're going to be a single mother, your baby father going to get killed, and you're going to get shot. And then, you get what I'm saying? The universe did that. So I didn't have that option. So, of course, I feel like everybody that comes from how we come from and look how we look and behave how we behave, I believe we absolutely deserve a soft life, but I believe that the life...
That's not the reality.
That's not the reality.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And for me, again, liberation is access, is something that is accessible for all of us.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately,
like that.
we don't have that.
I like that. Everybody needs to have that feeling.
Right. And a lot of people, they be like, oh, how you feel being successful and this, that, that. Like, yo, I don't feel that way.
I was going to ask Melly her opinion, but she was crawling on the floor, tucking wires.
Melly doing her job.
Like Melly just be doing miscellaneous shit that probably needs to be done, but it looks insignificant at the moment. You know what I mean? But Melly, you know, as the other woman in the room, right? I always like to ask, like, because I thought the shit was spot on. Do you feel like women often conflate their feelings with fact?
Can you give me an example?
What's an example? Oh, shit, boy. So, I'll tell you what. The comedian actually, he continues on and he gives...
Let him give you an
not only does he
example.
give an example, but he gives a solution.
Okay.
And I love his solution because I learned this, like, recently. Like, I lived a long life struggling, and I just learned this shit. I'm like, how come nobody told me this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, let me finish.
Their feelings is real. We respect it, but fellas, like, we understand 1 + 1 = 2. We're logical. That's the way we think. Women are also logical. They understand 1 + 1 = 2. But they also are emotional. So some days 1 + 1 can equal cat. Not even a fucking number. Just anything, nigga. But just understand, on days that it's cat, nigga, it's cat. Stop trying to understand. You're not gonna understand. Just go with it. Just go. That's what we fuck up. We keep trying to make sense of the shit. It's cat, nigga. Let it go.
That's funny. So his solution is just to give up?
His solution is to acknowledge that that's just the case sometimes.
Right.
I'm such a logical person that
I'm trying to understand.
I used to be like, yo, if the disagreement doesn't end with some logical conclusion, I'm gonna keep going. But the more you keep going, the more it gets worse for the nigga. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And at some point, you just gotta be like, all right, cool.
And I
You
feel
know
like
what I mean?
that goes with a lot of things. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like, yo, listen, man. It's easier to just be like, you know what? Cool.
Yeah,
Than
it's
trying
cat.
to keep
It's cat.
right.
1
it
+
just
1
be-
= cat.
Right, and that's it. Yeah, because continuing an argument
know what,
now
you
would
right.
led to something else.
You are absolutely right. You know what? Yeah.
You know what I think? This is honest. And a lot of times the idea of somebody wanting to be heard or a woman wanting to be heard is all it is. Right? As a man, stereotypically, sometimes your voice is a little bit more dominant in terms of how you speaking. You speak, even if what you're saying is factual, you're kind of saying it in a way where it's going, what room is there for her to say something opposing or next to that without feeling like, well, I'm just gonna sit here and let you say all the talking and not say anything. So sometimes you gotta go, baby, say it. Say whatever, you know what I mean? Because they want to be heard. You know what I mean? And I think it's valid. It's not like I'm not and when I say that, I'm not saying that to mark them like, whatever. I'm saying it like, no, I get that part where they're going, I got something to say. Say it. It's like little kids coming into a room where there's a bunch of adults and they just, you go, yeah, because they see everybody talking, they want to be a part of it. So you excluding her by not making her feel like, you know what I mean?
Melly, was that example clear? Does 1 + 1 = cat sometimes to you?
Well, it still wasn't as clear. I didn't like that example. But because I feel like people feelings, I feel like that's fact as well. Because like you said, Free, that you can't tell, like if someone hit their toe and they're still in pain like 2 days later and you're like, yo, your toe still hurts. It's like, it's fact, like my toe is hurting. Like what else do you want me to, I'm not faking it. So I feel like people's feelings are also fact as well. And that it's not only that it's feelings and then something that you think majority of the people in the world believe is true.
I think the problem is like, all right, your toe is hurting. But the problem is when you want to blame somebody else for your pain, like you made my toe hurt. And sometimes that's a fact to you. But niggas like, what the fuck did I do? I wasn't even in the room. Like, you stubbed your toe in the bed.
Left the suitcase
Oh,
on the floor. So
That's
why
where the
I
suitcase-
If
stubbed
you
my
ain't leave the
toe.
suitcase on the floor, my foot will be fine.
Suitcase is
Exactly.
always on the floor. Why you walking around in the dark with no shoes on?
And then, so that's why we keep going around and around in circles, because everyone have their different perspectives of like what is fact, what is now like my feeling is valid, and you're like, oh well, it's like you have to get over it. Everyone is in a different level in their lives when it comes to, believing in something that should be over in a day, or some people prolong it. So it depends on the person.
I think it's really the acknowledgement. Like, a lot of arguments could be deaded if you said, well, you said such and such, and like how you said, okay, cat is cat. Like, that cat is cat part is the valid acknowledgement that needs to happen. Because they can't, if you want to be smart, there's no argument once you acknowledge whatever it is that they said.
Exactly.
Needs to be acknowledged.
Right.
What's she gonna come at you like? You acknowledge me? Yes. What's she gonna say after that? Like, I
the only
got you.
thing is now to find a replacement behavior if there needs to be one.
Right. So you move forward knowing,
Yeah.
that's gonna affect her. So I'm not gonna move on that accord. I'm gonna do everything possible in that, or communicate. This could happen, but let's figure out
what we should do next time. And I think that's a part of growing and a part of understanding.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because none of this shit, right? None of it comes with a fucking rule.
There's no manual.
There's no manual on how to be a parent, how to be a partner. None of that's and it means different things for different children and different partners.
So there is no manual, but do you feel like you have an upper hand because you were a behavioral therapist?
I feel like I should.
You'd be breaking people down. You'd be like, oh, you're projecting anger right now, aren't you?
So the thing is, though, I can do that for you, but then in the midst of me doing something, I have to fall back like, you so dumb. Like, that this means this, and you should have done this in response, but I'm still very much human. So a lot of that education, no matter what degree you got,
out the window. Go
it'd be out the window. You know what I'm saying? Like, even with my son, right? I know, like, he did this, and my proper response should have just been this, or I should have just ignored it because it was done for attention, right? But no, because I'm human, or because I'm parenting, I react. Fucked up the whole game. I ain't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? But I do have a little bit of leverage when I'm sane enough to say to myself, okay, old behaviors can only mean 4 things. It could be a combination of those 4 things, but it's only going to be either 1, 2. It's going to be 4.
You
right?
said old behaviors or all?
All behaviors have 4 meanings.
What are they?
Okay, so I say east. Escape is E. A is attention. S is sensory. T is tangible. Okay, I'm gonna give you a quick example of all of them.
Okay.
We at a bar. You come next to me. You start talking to me. I start talking to Traum, paying mine. My behavior is telling you that I'm escaping from whatever it is you trying to do to me, right? Another quick example, we actually together. We in the bed. You trying to get something, you move next to me and I roll on over. My behavior is escaping whatever it is you want to go on. On the reverse, easy, attention. What you did. You scooted over next to me on the bar at the bar and was talking to me because you sought my attention. Right? S, sensory. That's why we masturbate. Right? Your body is self-stimulating, is soothing. I'm scratching myself because it feel good. I'm soothing myself. That's what my behavior means. Tangible. That means I want to either gain an experience or I want to gain actually something, right? So I go to work and I work because what do I want to gain in return? Money. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm nice to somebody I'm dating because I want to go to Cancun. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing something to gain something from it.
Can you have an action where you actually use all 4? Like you're going to a bar, it's a nice young lady next to you. You want her attention because you want something tangible from her. You want to have some sensory overload there. And then you want to escape in the morning.
Yeah, there you go. Yes. So regardless of what anybody does, child, old, young, male, female, genderless, whatever.
What's in that for?
It's and if it doesn't fit into any of those 4, then it's a medical situation that's
Really?
happening.
Okay.
Something that literally can't be. I used to work with people that had special needs, right? A lot of them was nonverbal. So they would hit themselves in order to, gain attention or things of that nature. They didn't know the proper response or the proper way to ask because they can't say, yo, look at me.
Yeah.
So the hitting replaced that and gave them what they needed. But that falls under the medical element, right? Because medically, they have a condition that is not allowing them to have the same behaviors or that we deem correct. And I want to say we deem correct because that's society. You know what I'm saying? Who's to say that I'm actually the normal one versus somebody who's autistic who is probably extremely intelligent and just may not be able to speak.
Right.
Gotcha. So actually we have a whole production team that gives us some topics. Shout out to the show. That's Trav, by the way. So we haven't even touched on any of these. We're going to touch on some. Tahoe called me before we started, said he was going to send me some stuff. Okay. I didn't even check my phone. You know, he's probably busy at Podfest. No invite. You know?
No invite. I saw him eating lamb chops yesterday.
Oh, yeah? Yeah. Must be nice, man. Rich niggas doing rich things, huh? All right, so this first clip, staying on topic with relationships. First clip, let me click this on. Figure out how to work this damn thing. Hold on. All right. Bear with an old nigga using technology.
Did you remember the sound?
It's just waiting for it to load up. Hold on. Let me refresh. Okay. Hold on. We might need the IT department.
Remember, you had to.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
And put the sound on.
So wait a minute. Oh, now I gotta refresh because it started already.
So put refresh, pause it right away, and then click the corner.
It's just a lot
to unmute it.
Okay. I'm just trying to do it quick. This shit is not quick.
He refreshed it and then it just went to a white page.
Just went dead. Internet don't want me to be great today. All right, here we go.
Oh, man.
Oop. Press and play.
It happened.
I feel like my mom's trying to work her computer and shit.
Listen, I just got an iPad for Christmas. And I was sitting there like, how do I start this?
Man.
How do I work this?
You know what? I could use my phone.
Soon everything is that voice command.
I have the whole, I have the same shit on my phone.
You can just look at the...
It's just a lot smaller fonts. This is going to be interesting. I did have my LASIK surgery, though.
How that man treats you when he's mad tells you everything that you need to know about him. You think about men, like when we really love a woman, regardless of how mad at her we are, it's not gonna stop us from doing our duties as her man or as her husband, right? We could be done just gotten a big argument, but that's not gonna stop us from checking that car to make sure that air's in those tires and make sure that there ain't no emergency lights on, and you know, having her call us when she get to where she going, and things of that nature, like ensuring her safety. That's our job, to protect and provide, regardless of how mad at her we are. That's not gonna stop us from doing those things, right? But if you have a man who gets mad at you and just shuts down completely, and he out running the streets, or he get mad and talk to you any kind of way, calling you out your name, all type of stuff, getting physical with you, you know, mentally abusive, physically abusive, things of that nature, you with the wrong man. That man does not love you. That is not what love looks like. It's not. How that man treats you when he's mad tells you that.
Interesting. Cream, let's start with you. What do you think about that?
So I agree with him, right? But the only thing I slightly disagree with is that a lot of folks don't know how to love, right? So, and again, it don't come with no rule book. And if you come from a situation where, number one, you ain't ever see that, you didn't have that in your present, then that the way you know how to love and the way you know how to be loved is gonna be different, right? So I always like to use myself as an example because when I speak on other folks, they take it more personal, you know. One thing about me is my mom used to beat me bad, right? Like anything you did, you was gonna get your ass whooped. You was gonna kneel on rice. You was gonna do something in this house. And I'm not saying this is the sole reason, but if you are teaching your child that love hurts, and then I get in a relationship with a man who slaps me and then says I love you, and all I know is that the people that claim to love me slapped me and then said they loved me, and they did that out of loving me, it's gonna be a higher chance that I accept that as love.
Absolutely. It's something familiar to you.
Hello. And it's comforting because I was taught that what? Love hurts. I love you, and that's why I'm slapping you, because you did something wrong. So now when I get with a brother and he do the same thing, I'm just like, well, I expected that. Right? Or I come from or you come from a household where cheating is acceptable and you always see it, right? And your parents stick together through all that stuff. My mother was a ride, not mine in particular, but my mother was a ride or die, right? What I do? I emulate exactly that. So although he's correct and that's how a man is supposed to move or should move, like, yo, no matter what, I'm still gonna have your back, I'm still gonna check and make sure the car good, I'm still gonna do these things. If I don't know these things, I can't give you what I don't have. And I don't have those tools.
Good point.
You know, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
can only do what works. Again, going back to behavior. If I do something and it works the first time, I'm gonna keep doing it. So if I punch you in the face and that helps me feel better, I'm gonna punch you in the face again, because that's how I know to release my anger. But now if we switch it and you show me, yo, if you punch the pillow, it'll give you the same thing, or if you take a walk, you can still calm down. Now if you show me something that it replaces it, that don't require me being harmful to somebody else. But again, if I don't have those tools in my toolbox, I can only be the person that been working for me. You know what I'm saying? Survival skills. I can only do what's been working. So cheating been working, beating been working. I'm gonna continue to do it.
Random question, Cream. Has anybody ever filed a restraining order against you? Respectfully. No, I'm just. You seem like you might be the aggressor in a lot of situations.
So funny thing, I'm not. Well, in my past relationships, I haven't been the aggressor. I usually end up dating men that were extremely aggressive, that were able to, I guess, put my aggression kind of on mute.
Gotcha.
Because, I've always been intimidating the folk.
Yeah, you need an alpha male.
So a dude will come around and be like, you know what? You a little bit too much. But Jamel from up the block,
he's fucking with you.
He fucking with me. You know what I'm saying? He might got a little cockeyed. He might be a little ugly, but he gonna fuck with me. You get what I'm saying? because for him, it ain't no. I don't care nothing about that. You get what I'm saying? That's his attitude.
My mama like that.
Yeah, that's how all my sisters and my aunts is. So she's saying all that shit. When I put it down tonight, I guarantee, right? You get what I'm saying? So, but what's happened is I've ran into the folks that don't come from love the same way I don't come from love. So their version of being the alpha male is I have to bring her down. Even though it's not a challenge for me, I gotta bring her down because she holds too much. You get what I'm saying? So no, I haven't had anybody file any restraining orders or me.
No court paperwork.
I've had women that have called the police on me, be like, yo, she won't leave me alone. But as far as
dudes,
nah.
So Free, I want to ask you your thoughts on the same topic, and also want to flip it to see, do you feel like in the same breath, like women need to be unconditional with their love? Like during a disagreement, should there still be some type of love that the woman provides as well?
I think throughout there should always be some love. If this is really love, like if we having an argument and I'm in the midst of making dinner, I'm still gonna serve you this dinner. Knock it off. You got to eat. Stop all that other stuff that you do. You know what I mean? And that comes along with maturity, right? Because and I've gone through a cheating situation, and y'all still trying to work it out because things happen. That's the other side of when cheating takes place, and there's something valuable there. because there could be other factors. Sometimes it's not just some ass. It was other things, and y'all need to sort that out. You know, maturity plays a big part of why people stick together. And you know that when you talk to people who've been married 20 plus years, and he goes, yeah, he wasn't in the house for like 5. And, you know, he had... These things happen because at one point in your life, you were this person, but you never stop growing. Mm-hmm. And if you and your partner don't grow together, you'll grow apart. And sometimes you grow apart and then you come back together, and you feel me? Because, you know, life keeps lifing.
Facts.
We have things that need to take place within our own lives as individuals that are separate from our partners, even when we meet our partners, you know? So you gotta be patient. You gotta have a different value for why you with this person other than your selfishness. You feel me? Like there's a possessiveness when you with somebody that you gotta learn how to let go. Like the most strongest relationships that I've ever seen are the ones where, you know, the husband could be sitting down while his wife is dancing with another man, and he knows what this is because it's nothing.
Right.
You feel me? It's my wife want to dance, and my knees is giving it.
Or I can't dance. Shit.
Oh, I can't.
Go ahead. I'll be.
Oh, I can't dance.
Yeah.
But there's a trust here. There's a value here that's bigger than you worried about how fine my wife is or how handsome I am.
Well, maybe I would have danced with somebody and, okay, you busy? Let me go
let me
grab
go
her
and
arm.
get. And we
Right,
know we
right.
just having a good time.
Right.
And that's the end of it.
Right. So I love seeing those kind of couples because that security is something that a lot of people don't even have.
Facts.
You feel me? And you like I said, we talk about partnerships here. So I know if I was going into business with somebody, especially with my life, I want to be able to trust this person. You know, what's that method that they do when somebody stands behind you and they say fall and you got
the trustful or something like that. I think it's called.
This is what you really dealing in life when you have a partner. I'm gonna trust you. You know, if
I got to be able to close my eyes and know that you got my back.
The money look good now. If the money don't look good tomorrow, you gonna be around and be like, baby, it's all right.
And that's the thing. In rough times, what's the reaction? I feel like as you know, you get in mature relationships. For me, that's a real test of somebody's character. Like, what's your arguments like? Like, how are we when shit ain't going right? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like through the thin times.
Yeah,
through the mean,
bro.
You know what I mean? So
because the other stuff
I feel
is
like on the surface, the respect has to be there.
Yeah, but
once we start being disrespectful, then you opening a door
100%
that might not be able to close. Now we might have to walk through this door and go our separate ways.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Because like you said, the love should still be there. Yeah. That means the respect should still be there.
Has to be. It has to be. I like, you know, again, it's a partnership. I'm invested in here. I'm spending a certain amount of my life equity here.
Yeah,
and I can't get it back because time, once it's spent, it's spent.
Right.
I also have a comment. I feel like even though, because I feel like with generations, they always talk about staying in a relationship no matter what.
That's wrong.
Through the good and the bad. But I feel like even though we may have arguments and stuff like that, I think the individuals need to work on themselves as well in their relationship. Because if we stay with someone for like 20, 30, 40 years and you guys always had like arguments and stuff like that, but you guys never really change individually, even though people change throughout the years, but not change for the better, I think it kind of will affect the individuals in a different way.
100%. You need growth in that. Communication is going to explain that. Because if I'm with somebody and they can see I'm making certain moves in my life, you know, as far as like business and like, you know, health-wise, they should try to match that.
Yeah, and this I'm a pro therapy person for that reason. And what people don't understand is therapy don't mean there's something wrong with you.
Right.
Nah.
It may simply mean I need a safe space to be heard, and I need somebody who is not going to be combative and judgmental in whatever I have to say. Because whether you my best friend, right? You could be my best friend and I want to give you everything. I still can't give you everything. You know what I'm saying? There's certain things my therapist know and the world better not ever find out. Yeah, it's like a confessional. You know what I'm saying? But I know it's a safe space. I know if I tell her I did something that the rest of the world may find morally wrong, she's not going to say, you know what? You fucked up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, my therapist kind of will. You know what I'm saying? She gonna sit there, look like me and talk like me, and she gonna be like, you know, you played yourself. But you know, that's why, like I said, being in those therapeutic settings is helpful, whether it's individual or whether it's a relationship.
Yeah,
you get what I'm
you
saying?
need
Because
to-
it is still just be somebody there to create a safe space to be heard and give feedback where feedback is necessary.
And to Melly's point, and to your point, like people should be constantly working on themselves.
Yes.
And it must be tough to be in a relationship with somebody, to be married for years and they not working on themselves. Like
and that's
every couple of years, you got to get an inspection on your car, or you can't drive it on the road. Like
Correct.
you know, I feel like it should be the same in a relationship. Like let's take a minute.
And
Let's
assess
inspect what's going on
yes,
here. Are we okay?
yes,
Like that's why I like when
yes.
couples like renew their vows and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like we got to revisit what we doing here. You know what I mean? You get complacent real easy.
Yeah, I have a homegirl who they have that conversation. Like, hey, are you still happy?
Yeah.
Are you still okay? Is this something I could be doing better? You get what I'm saying? Or is sex still good? Am I, you know what I'm saying? The chicken fried hard. Are you okay? You know,
And his-
checking in.
Fact.
And the thing about that is, don't just leave it as a I'm good. No.
Let's talk about
Let's
this shit.
talk.
Right.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, and I say this at all my events, I say at the end, I try to go check on your friends. And what I mean by that is like, have a real conversation. Don't take that. It's all good. I'm good. No. What's going on?
Yeah.
Like in depth, right? I'm happy for my friendships, like the ones I have with Traum, where we can really have hour conversations and talk. Like I feel like I vent with my boys, like how girls would sit on the phone, and you know what I mean. And I'm thankful for that because. You know, I know some dudes that brush it off. I see their relationships with their peoples. And I'm like, how come you didn't know that's going on with your man? It's like,
Right.
I don't care what's going on. One of my homies who I've known for years could come out and say, I feel like I want to date men. I need you to tell me this. I need you to talk to me because if not, where do you go with this?
But not only that, I feel like when people hide those things, especially things that you know, are that big, is because they don't feel they have a
They're
safe space
comfortable.
with you.
You're not
Right?
comfortable.
Right. So then I start looking at myself like, how good of a friend am I?
Facts.
If you don't feel like you could tell me them things.
Yeah,
You get what I'm saying? I do that with my son. You know, I say things. I be like, oh, because you know, when he say he want to go to the park after school, I say, you gonna go meet a girl? He like, no. I said, well, is you gonna go meet a little boy? He said, come on, stop playing. And I'm like, I'm not playing.
Yeah.
Because
Talk
one
to
thing
me.
about this house, I don't listen. As long as it's not harmful, as long as you're not harming somebody else,
Talk to me.
I couldn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You want to dye your hair purple tomorrow? Listen, you got to be the one to deal with that when you go to school.
Right.
We gonna dye your hair purple.
Yeah.
If you come in here and tell me, Mom, I'm not comfortable in my body, and this is who I really am. Hey, you get what I'm saying? And
You want to hear it.
Yeah,
you wanna
because I
hear it.
want you to be safe with me.
Yeah.
You know?
It's important. I mean, as a new father, I kind of think about my boy growing up, and I want him to feel that way. I want him to
Congrats,
feel like.
by the way, brother.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
You know, I wasn't sure if you was gonna, you know, mention.
Yeah,
I know you're a private person,
I
but
am.
you know,
I am.
brother.
But I don't. You know, it's one of those things I think about now. Like, you know, I want him to feel comfortable about saying anything, telling me anything. You know what I mean? Because it's one of those things when I was growing up, especially in the society I grew up around, how males was treated. Yeah, you didn't have that space. If you
Right.
felt a little out of the box, or
Yeah.
you wanted to do something outside of the box, Cass would be like,
Yeah.
questioning
Right,
you.
you just had to be hard. That's it.
Yeah, it's not. It's not.
so you know, in that vein, we talking about friends. I'm gonna jump around a little bit. I see a clip here. I don't know what the clip is about. I mean, I don't know what the clip is, but it is about a woman or men who are better friends. Which one are better friends, women or men? So let's click on this, see what they say.
What men are saying.
What they saying?
What men are saying is women tend to evaluate each other based on a male curriculum.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Your female friends are great men,
Okay.
but they are terrible women.
Okay. Yeah.
Because unfortunately, and this is part of the message I try to push when I have a conversation with a woman, is the things that move the needle for you when it comes to me aren't necessarily the things I would prioritize.
Damn.
The things that move the needle for me when it comes to you aren't necessarily things you would prioritize. What men are saying.
What they saying?
I don't know if I even understand that shit.
Me neither. I don't understand it.
I only
I don't know
understand
if
the
it's
first
me.
part, and the
Yeah.
reason I said yes to that is because no matter whether we do it consciously or subconsciously, we do view people through a male lens, and I believe that just goes into patriarchy and misogyny.
That's been dominant.
You know what I'm saying?
for all
Right,
this
right.
time,
So I just feel like that's just societal standards, right? So even as a person that likes that likes to believe that I am as aware as I am, there are still things that I fall into that are still genuinely misogynistic or fall right into what white supremacy has told us we need to be doing. And it's the same thing. You meet somebody and you view them through that way because society has told you this is the things you look for in these people.
So it's funny you talk about white supremacy. One thing, I only did a real soft deep dive, but when I was looking at your tweets, there was one thing, correct me if I'm wrong, one thing that I think I realized about you is that you seem to be pretty super pro-black. Am I right about that?
All day.
Okay, I figured as much. I
Yeah.
think we all share the
With
same.
a capital B, exclamation point.
I think we all share the same sentiments here, right?
Yeah.
So I don't have all the full context of this, but there is a tweet, another one that I want to refer to you from, and I want you to give us some backstory because I feel like there's more to it, right?
Okay.
So somebody tweeted, "Is it okay now to not find Jonathan Majors and his big ass nose attractive?"
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. So.
And your
I'm sorry, go
response,
ahead.
well, I'll give your response, and then and then you give us your thoughts. So you tweeted, "Just admit it's rooted in anti-blackness when you do, but since he beats women, I don't care."
Yes. Okay. So I don't think she asked. She just said it's okay to not like him and his big ass nose, right? And then her reply to me basically was, "Oh, other people have big noses. Yes, they do. But when you are speaking about a black man and pointing out his black features, that's where the anti-blackness comes in at, right? And you could claim it's a preference. You could do all these things you want to do, but words mean things, and you got to acknowledge the root of the issue. And the root of the issue is that, yes, Jewish folks, Greek folks, them folks have, historically been found to have larger noses too, right? But we're not talking about them. You're talking about a black man, and specifically pointing out the fact that you don't find him attractive is because of his black ass nose. So yeah, you can say that, but I can't say I'm your friend and not hold you accountable for doing fuck shit. Right? So if this person is an associate of mine and they say something like that, I'm gonna say, yeah, you can say that, but just know that when you say that and when you have these feelings, it's because you're being anti-black. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
got
want to go on about it because, again, one thing I'm gonna be pro is not defending a motherfucker who beat on women, but I'm gonna let you know though, the reason you feel this way is because you are mad at his black features that he can't control, and that's not fair.
Because it's like, why did you even point it
Why
out?
you
Why,
even
right,
said
because
it,
she
Yeah.
said, "Oh, well, he's brolic too," but you didn't say that. I don't like brolic men, right? I like heavier men. If you look at the guys that I've dated, they got what you call dad bodies. I like that you gonna come and eat this pie and this pound cake that I just cooked. I like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want no brother that tell me he don't eat pork. No, I want to smother some chops and you gonna eat them. But that's a preference, right? Saying that somebody is ugly specifically because of their features that help define their blackness is rooted in anti-blackness, and I gotta call you out for that. The same way I would when you say there was a topic I think a day prior to that when they said Power need to stop doing the gay scenes and do more straight scenes. And I said, well, that's because you homophobic. And they said, no, it's just I don't want to see gay sex. Why don't you want to see gay sex? It's because we cannot deny what these things are. I'm not an expert at nothing because I'm continuously learning. But if you are my friend, if you call me your sister and I call you my brother, I'm going to tell you, listen, that's not right. And the reason you feel that way is because of this. Period.
That's an interesting thought because I struggle with that. I'm not gonna front. I like to consider myself an ally, and I don't want to be considered homophobic. So I feel like by tweeting that or putting it out there in public and saying, "Oh, these gay scenes is too much." I feel like that's a little homophobic. But is it homophobic to feel that way internally?
So I would just say, I would say acknowledge why you feel this way, because are you genuinely turned off at all sex scenes? Right? Because sometimes when I watch shows, I'm like, all right, y'all gonna fuck again? You know what I'm saying? Move on to something else. That's different. But it's not me saying, oh, I'm only asking, are they gonna fuck again because it's 2 men or 2 women? I'm saying that because it's like, all right, do y'all actually have a plot?
For me and Free, I want to ask your thoughts on this. For me, it's more like preference, right? If I want to see a sex scene, I want it to be with sexy people, right? So even if it's a hetero sex scene, if it's like unattractive people or they like old and wrinkly, I might be like, I don't really want to see that shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
So for me, it's a preference. If I don't want to see 2 men getting it on, I don't necessarily feel like it's homophobic. It might be homophobic to say something out loud because it just sounds off. But I don't know. What you think?
Wait, I asked you this
go ahead.
though, right? Because you said to say it out loud makes it the homophobic part, right? But that's like if some old white lady call you, you know what I'm saying, the N-word, or call you a monkey, and she just happened to say it out loud, now is that racist? If she just say it in her head, do that hide the racism? No, she's still racist.
No, you can say whatever you want. My thoughts is wild.
I know that. What I'm
saying
saying is, you know, whether it's out loud or not, it doesn't, negate.
It's still racist.
It's still racist. That's what I'm saying. And I'm just saying, you don't have to,
it's not a racist act.
Is it though? If you check yourself?
Wait, because I see where he's coming from with that. Because growing up, like there was no gay scenes.
Right.
On TV.
Right.
So for me, if I see a gay scene, like if this consistently happening, I'm like, okay, it's like weird because I'm not used to that.
Okay.
I'm used to seeing a man and a woman.
I can respect that.
So for me to see it, it's like something that I'm not used to. I'm not comfortable I'm not. It's not norm for me to see it all the time. I'm like, okay, this is not normal. Like for me growing up, so it's gonna be weird. It's like I don't want to see it all the time.
Well, that's how I feel about. I feel like they doing with the biracial couples.
Yeah.
Right, I feel like
Definitely.
every movie, every show, I'm like, okay, we asked for black representation, but ain't nobody got a black wife.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, what is happening here? So I can understand that. All I would say, again, I'm not a expert, right? I can only share what I know in the current space, and what I would say is, the world is accessible for us in ways that it's not accessible for other folks. So. We have 30,000 other shows that don't have any sex.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Don't have any sex in it. Like my nana, she's super, go to church every day. I guarantee you she not sitting around watching any sex scenes. You know what I'm saying? She finds her own television that she can watch. So what I'm saying is the world is very big. Media is very big.
Okay.
If that is something that you genuinely do not want to see, there's always another option, right?
So,
Halle Berry had that show recently where she spent like the first 4 episodes crying over a white man. I was like, you know what? I'm about tired of this show. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, enough. And I just switched to another show. You know what I'm saying? So all I'm saying is we have access to so much that conforms to us just being quote unquote straight that, if that's something that you just don't want to see, you kind of have an easy way out. But for other folks, they don't have as much access as seeing themselves.
So if you don't want to see a gay sex scene, just like watch Family Feud or some shit like
Watch
that.
fucking Family Feud. Shit. Watch National Geographic. Watch the Smithsonian. I don't know. Watch PBS.
Free,
I think it happens. I think the first thing is you have to understand why is it happening. It's happening because there's a society or a community that moves in a way to be heard and be seen, right? And that community says we want a presence here, right? It's kind of like us as black people saying there's not enough. We want black representation. You know what I mean? I wanted to say it's the gay community, but that community, right, on a whole, whatever we may say, as people outside of it consider to be alternative or whatever, want to be seen. They want a representation. So they work in these these fields, right? Entertainment, obviously, to get in a position to go, I'm going to do the art direction. I'm going to do the casting. I'm going to do the visuals. And when I get in this position, I'm going to make sure there's representation, right? And so that's why we see it. So that's the first. So you have to understand that's why it's there, because somebody wants it to be there, and they organize and they get together.
And remember, these people exist.
100%. But that's what I'm saying.
Right, I'm not saying you wrong. I'm just adding a little bit
Right,
to it.
they
Like, these
exist-
people exist.
they
They're not
exist.
made up characters.
Yeah, they're not made up characters.
But to his point, like I think these people exist, but they also exist in large part in Hollywood. So they're the ones making the decision
Making
to
the
greenlight
decision.
these, right?
So that's the first thing, right? And they have families, they have friends, they have people who going, I sit at home and I watch and I see all the love scenes, and all the love scenes don't represent me. And then they were able to show statistically, this is us out here, and how many of us is watching and don't see us. And so that may wear into the writers, and you know what I mean? That's how we got here. That's how all that is here. How I feel about it is, if I ever wanted that to change, I'd have to put on the same amount of emphasis that they did, which is to organize and to work amongst whoever it is to be seen and to be heard. It could be like, my favorite color is purple. I want purple to be seen more in these love scenes. If I work towards it, you'll see more purple in these love scenes. You get what I'm saying? So I'm not against it, because I want the same thing that community has created for their people to be seen and heard. I just have to be a little bit more organized and dedicated to being seen. And then I could get back to watching shows where the representation that I feel needs to be there is there more. Am I making?
No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I think just going back to
So I'm not opposed to it. Just to let you know, I'm not opposed to.
Right, yeah, I don't think anybody
Yeah.
got that you was opposed
Yeah,
to.
but
what you said.
I say that just to be clear. Like, when the
Yeah.
question is asked, like, how do you feel about it? Like, I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah.
opposed to it, because I want the same for everybody. I've always, and I grew up in a time period where the gay community or alternative lifestyles that other people may view was really shadowed. Was really put in a corner. Like, don't you come out in the light
Right.
talking and
Right.
acting like this. And I kind of identified more with that as a child growing up, because that's what society told me to identify
Yes,
with.
yeah.
As I got older and I started to acquire friends who have that lifestyle, and I really had to think to myself, like, your preferences sexually and what you do have nothing to do with me. And even my friends who I would more say you're on my level still don't have anything to do with me. Like, you probably do other stuff that I don't want to be, you know what I mean, that I don't care to see or whatever, but that's not our friendship, you know what I mean? Because we don't lay in bed, so we never even gonna get there. So it changed my mentality on the idea of what they do and how they want to be seen and how they be heard, because I go, as a black man, I want to be seen and be heard. I know the misrepresentation I get.
So you can relate. Yeah.
So I want to change that narrative. I just got to think about it differently.
And then as an ally, I'm like happy. I'm like, yo, I'm glad, because it normalizes those, like Melly said, we didn't grow up seeing this shit on TV, so it's not normalized. It's something strange. It's something obscene almost, right? So now the more you see it, the more it's normal, right? So like, I love that for the community, for the LGBTQ plus community, right? And then there's something that I'm just admitting, right? There's something inside me that sometimes when I'm watching these scenes, I'm not uncomfortable, but there's something inside me is like, I hope this don't go on for too long, because I might get a little uncomfortable. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's just me. I hope that's not being homophobic. Maybe I'm just still an old nigga trying to adjust in the new way. You know what I mean?
It's great that you're at least bring it to your awareness, to like to be able to go, let me identify what I'm going through here, because like I said,
and then just try to understand your feelings. Like, okay, so why do I feel this way?
Right.
Why am I?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because you're not, like you said, you're not going to see yourself in every show, in every example, and then you're not going to understand everything, right? Like, they got it's a doctor. What's the show? Doctor something on Channel 7, right? But the main character is an autistic doctor.
Oh, I know you're talking about.
Right? An amazing show, right? I have a little bit of an understanding, because I worked with folks that have special needs, but folks that may have autism, that may have
loving it.
You get what I'm saying?
They're loving it.
It's not that it bothers me, but I just may not understand what that representation may mean for somebody else.
And that's why I said that's why I used the whole idea of them getting organized and building around the community and what the community needs, right? I think as black people, black and brown people, right, because I'll put us together in a lot of ways, the disenfranchised mindset that we have about things is the reason why we can complain about things. You get what I'm saying? Like, I can't complain about somebody being represented. They work to be represented. I need to work on.
Facts. If anything, our community should understand. Like,
and then I'm not worried about. I got mine too. There's a channel just for. You feel me?
But that's the thing. Although there is the gay community and the black community, black gay people exist. You know what I'm saying? It's not one or the other. Like, it's not.
And they're friends of ours and family.
Right.
And, you know
Exactly.
what I mean?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
We struggle with the same not being seen or being.
It's-
That's why I said
it's
I want to
oppressed
learn.
people,
You
so-
gotta learn from that because I'm like, for you to get this represent, it's a big deal. Like you know,
Like, I wouldn't fight. My goal is never to be to be the supreme person and oppress other people that are like me.
It won't work.
You get what I'm saying? I don't want to. When people say they want to combat white supremacy, a lot of the times they don't want to dismantle it.
They want
They
to do
just
the same thing.
They want to do the same thing. I don't want to do that. I know what depression feels like. I know what not wanting to be alive
And not being
feels
included.
like. I know what not being included feels like. I know what being told I'm not good enough. I didn't talk good enough. I'm too masculine. I know all of these feelings.
Yeah.
Why would I want to do that to somebody else?
Right.
Yeah.
My thing is this: if something that is, if it's not harmful to other folks, and you are happy, I want you to be happy.
Get it?
Because so many of us are not allowed to be who we are genuinely.
Yeah.
If you think about it, right, I can only be myself unapologetically and organically because I work for myself and I run the show. And even that still has a little bit, because some of my clients might be like, yeah, bitch, get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? But when I was working in the schools and I was working in these centers,
By the rules.
I had to be what? I had to lighten up my voice.
Yeah.
These earrings wasn't going in the building.
Right.
My hair wasn't going to be braided. You get what I'm saying? So why would I want to be the one to tell somebody that they can't dress, behave, or be themselves?
If I want to get it, you got to get it. That's the only way I'm gonna.
That shit don't bother you. Happy? Matter of fact, it take more courage sometimes to be I'm hoping I'm not using the wrong words, but to be like a flamboyant gay man out on that. You know how courageous that shit is.
Because you're gonna be seen now. You out
You
here.
to know that you gonna go outside and the motherfucker gonna look at you, say things to you, treat you differently and all that, simply because you are being yourself and you get up every day and still do that shit. Like, so what? Bring it on. When a lot of us who the world kind of caters to,
we hiding.
Yet this motherfucker get up every day and say, you know what? I couldn't give a fuck. I'm putting this wig on. I'm putting these pants on. And I don't care who gonna say what to me. You know how courageous that shit is?
We need to have more conversations like this. Because I ain't go front. When you put it in those types of perspectives, it's like, I could watch a little sex scene every now and again. Understanding the scope of what, some of their lives and what they have to go through, and being a black man and being able to relate to that. Like, who am I to be like, oh, I don't want to see that shit. Their representation that they haven't had ever. You know what I mean? Like,
And that's
I'm sorry to cut you off,
go ahead.
but it's the same way if you think about it for us, right? Being in before we was allowed to be on TV, right? You think other people ain't feel that way? Like, oh my God, look, they put all these black people on the TV. They put all these, you know what I mean? Look at these immigrants, they talking in Spanish on the TV.
There goes the neighborhood,
You get what I'm saying?
Let's put it on hip hop. Look at hip hop. Like, I remember when that representation wasn't there. Oh, I remember the first time watching Motown 25 and seeing Michael Jackson do the moonwalk.
Yeah, I remember that shit.
On television. Blew my mind. I was like, this is greatness. Because here we are in the hood. We've been doing the moonwalk. But to watch somebody like that do a street move that we like, yo, we popping and locking and you doing it for all these. Because, you know, when I was a kid growing up, you looked at watching television, those award shows differently from how they are now. Now I know all the tricks and behind the scenes. As a kid, you going, this is the creme de la creme. These are the stars. You know, I've been watching these people, and now they putting on these one-time performances. But so when I saw that moonwalk, it was a representation of black people.
It made you feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I
It
mean?
made you
So
feel good.
I always go back to that when I think about anybody being seen and being heard. So yeah, if I didn't want to see the sex scene, I still acknowledge the fact that you need to be seen too. This is not my part of the movie. I
Right.
love
Right.
this part of the movie, but
Yeah.
do
Right.
you know what I
Facts.
mean?
Super
I've done
facts.
gigs where I'm on the set and the DJ's playing some records. It's not my favorite records.
Right.
The crowd is with it though.
If they with it,
Right,
yeah.
right. No,
They're
I
happy,
know.
I'm
Yeah.
happy. Yeah,
You
yeah.
feel me? Because there should be enough room for everybody, right? That's how God created this earth. You feel me? And it's only the wickedness of men, and I say the wickedness of men, that feel like it should be a limit on that.
Yeah.
On people's happiness, because they figured out they could profit off of somebody's sadness.
And I want to point out, wow, what white supremacy does is make everybody the boogeyman, except for them.
Facts.
Except for them,
Facts.
right? The boogeyman is right there,
Yeah.
and it's white men, right? It's white straight men, right? It's white straight men who is the real boogeyman. But what white supremacy does to us is have us be angry at our brothers and our sisters because they having sex with somebody who we think is not okay.
Or even not even sex, just congregating.
Right.
with-
Oh, yeah, I'm just using that as an
yeah,
example.
yeah.
But anything that is different, that we, you know what I'm saying?
Break it up.
Right.
That's
And-
why the cabaret license existed in all the bars, you know. That law is really existing to stop people from congregating, so they wouldn't. Because what do you have when you put together libations and music? People gonna dance.
Right.
So they create this cabaret license so people can't get together, so we can organize, so we can be together.
And build.
Ain't that something?
Yeah.
Ain't that something?
Man, so this was amazing. I don't know if y'all know, but we're going to close out this part of the show. We're going to do a part 2,
Okay.
but we're going to take a little break.
That works.
And we got a whole lot of topic. We ain't even.
I brought y'all some banana pudding so I could taste
Look at
that right
that.
quick.
You know what's funny? I was like, yo, she a chef. I wonder if people be like, yo, you ain't bring no food. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yo, that's dope. 'Cause I ain't want to put that pressure on you, but that's fly. So we're going to take a little break. We're going to come back with part 2 in a minute, all right? So Shameless.
Hey.
Nice.
That nigga be crispy. Yeah, hey, I'm shameless, so shameless. With my dogs on the block, it was dangerous. Take a girl out to eat and she's paying. I'm shameless, so shameless. I'ma go hit Tahoe up. Come bring the Tahoe truck, body bags on body bags. Come pick this garbage up. DJ mixing in the booth, he leave him traumatized up. I ain't got no time to waste. Let's get these commas up. I'm sitting in class, I can't even focus. Looking at these hoes like she don't notice. Titty sit right, that ass be poking. I'm sitting in the front cause I gotta be the closest. I'm just waiting for the bell, let everybody leave. I passed with an A, but left her with a D. I'm shameless, so shameless.